Mike Barber, Richmond Times-Dispatch. Anthony, it looked like there's a picture of you almost praying over Coach Bennett when he was dealing with his dehydration. What were you doing, and what were you thinking when you kind of didn't know exactly what was up with him?
I didn't know what was going on, and I was praying just to make sure that he was okay. And it worked. You know, I healed him.
Okay, we're going to go in the back over here.
Norm Wood from the Daily Press in Newport News, Virginia. Tony, can you talk about what happened there?
We
need to do players
we
first.
Need to
okay.
do student athletes.
All right,
first.
Guys, you guys were able to go on a 20-3 run to end the first half and kind of put this game out of reach. What were they doing early on to kind of make life difficult for you, and how much more comfortable were you, obviously, after the run to kind of build a cushion?
Malcolm, could you maybe answer that, and then London?
I think it was a matter of both of the teams getting settled down, getting adjusted. I think there are a lot of nerves coming into this game, it being the first game of the tournament. So, we just had to get adjusted on both ends and, start establishing ourselves inside. And I think AG was able to finish a couple for us early, and that got us going, got us to a good start.
I think it started with our defense. Definitely, we started to buckle down defensively, started playing with more energy. And then AG started making some layups, and then it opened it up for some threes and some runouts. But it all started with our defense.
Let's go up front to Doug here.
Yeah, it's Doug Dowdy from the Roanoke Times. London, talk about, you just mentioned the three-pointers. What were they doing that maybe opened things up there late in the first half?
I think it just started with, like I said before, getting into the paint, having our bigs be aggressive down low. And just finishing it down low, and then it opened it up for us around the three-point line. We wanted to start going inside first, and then playing inside out. So I think that's what we did.
Other questions for the student athletes? Can we just go right over there to the right?
London, just you kind of kicked things off there, got on a hot streak, hitting the threes, and that kind of opened things up for you guys. Can you kind of tell us what that feels like for you when you get in a groove like that?
Just being aggressive. Malcolm fed me the ball at the right times. When people like AG and Malcolm are going, it opens it up for other people, and just being able to hit the open shots, it feels good. And I just want to keep it rolling going forward.
We're going back on the right, and then we'll come get you.
Anthony, you're from North Carolina. Is it any extra special to have such a big game on a court in your home state?
Anytime my family can be here and help me, kind of motivate me to play the best I can play, I think that really, gets me going. And I guess it is kind of special being here in North Carolina, only because I am born and raised here. But, I'm just blessed to be in the position that I'm in.
Let's go right here in the front.
Jeff White, VirginiaSports.com. Malcolm, it's not often that you spend the final 10 minutes plus on the bench of a one-sided game. With another game 2 days from now, how much could that help you?
I think it can help the team as a whole a lot. I think rest is the most important thing coming into the tournament, and then, playing these games almost back-to-back. So I think it's going to help us tremendously to be able to get up by a lot, win by a lot, and be able to rest our guys.
Let's go back to Mike first, and then we'll get Doug, and then we'll get you.
For Anthony in London, were you able to watch any of the early game? What do you know about your next opponent? And what is the challenge of the tournament setting where you have the quick turnaround?
London, could you go first, please?
I watched a little bit of the first half. Offensively, they're pretty dangerous, being able to shoot the ball. Have some not good bigs inside, but also they can shoot the ball as well. So it'll pose a different team than we did play today. So and we're just trying to get ready as best as we can. Just watch some films tomorrow, practice as best as we can, but also rest our bodies. It's really about us when it comes down to the tournament.
Anthony, could you comment on that?
I watched a little bit of the game as well, and I remember the commentators saying that they do get out in transition, but they also don't turn the ball over as much as a lot of teams do get out in transition. But we just gotta be back and packed and ready from the start. The biggest thing about tournament time is the recovery in between games, and you really have to treat your body well, eat right with that 1 day off.
Get Doug up front again.
Doug Dowdy. Malcolm, could you you've talked in the past about the guys coming off the bench. Could you talk about I think it's 33 points you got off the bench tonight?
I think it's huge, especially for our first game. I think we need the momentum. We need our guys coming off the bench to play with confidence going forward. I think that most of the time teams that have the best bench production, whether that's getting stops or producing on the offensive end, I think they end up winning a lot more games than the teams that don't.
Okay, now we're back in the middle.
A lot of teams say defense sparks their offense, but it seemed like that was really true for you guys today. When they went on, I think it was 5 minutes where they didn't score, and then you guys really started pouring it on. Does that really, when you guys are forcing turnovers, getting stops, spark your offense?
Anthony, could you please take that?
Yeah, I really think we feed off of our defense. Anytime we can get a stop, we really get up for that, and that's something we pride ourselves on. And when our defense is executing the way we should, it really makes it a lot easier for our offense.
Okay, we're going to go way in the back here to David.
David Teal from the Daily Press. Anthony, as the true point guard of this team, are you particularly proud of your career high 4 assists tonight?
I'm glad you pointed out that I am the true point guard of this team. A lot of people don't notice that, but I am very proud of that. I didn't even know I had 4 assists, but that's credit to my teammates knocking down shots when I give them the ball.
Any other questions for the student athletes? All right, gentlemen, you're excused. Congratulations, and thank you very much. Now we'll go ahead and open the floor up for Coach Bennett. Max, can you go ahead and give Mike the mic?
Coach, can you take us through what happened there at the end of the half? What did they tell you? And
Yeah,
scary moment for you?
No, I think I just been a little under the weather the last couple of days, and I think I was a bit dehydrated. And then when you're squatting down and you get up quick, I just grayed out or blacked out a little bit. I was saying something to London, and had more Powerade than I've ever had in my life right now. So I'm hopefully hydrated well, and it was that's happened before where you just get up quick and been a little dizzy, but I don't know, just happened kind of quick and just was a little off sorts. Maybe being a little under the weather is what played into that. So thank you for asking.
Were you aware of Anthony praying over you and being right there?
I didn't. I didn't. No, that's very kind of him.
Other questions for Coach? Can we go up front here?
Luke Williams from the Black College Sports Page. Coach, were you surprised that they didn't try to maybe put some pressure on you, maybe press you in the second half when they got down?
Well, they had a heck of a year, Hampton did, to win your regular season and win your conference tournament, and Coach has done a good job. And they're really, you asked the question someone did about the three-point shots. They really do a good job of jamming the lane and choking, and that's how we got some threes. When you start pressuring, it opens up some things. They tried some zone, they tried different things, but we had a nice balance going inside and outside, and that's a tough spot to be in, and that's how they've been successful. You have to do what you do, and you can't just become someone you're not. And I think when we separated a little bit, it was tough for them. But they early on, they were jamming the lane. We got some inside shots, and we weren't hitting. I could see that watching film that they had that ability, but they had a heck of a year. They really did, and the score got a little bit away from them. But to do both what they did, certainly had respect for them. And it was 2 veteran teams playing, is what it was.
Let's go right behind you, Maddox, first, then we'll go here, and then we'll get you, Kip.
Coach, the three-point shot was big for you guys, obviously, today. Was that sparked by some of the defensive stops, or because it was when they were packing in the lane so tight, or how did that actually
I think
come
both. We missed some early, but we had to go inside, and again, they jam. They really try to keep the ball out of the lane and penetrate, so if you could touch the paint or at least draw and kick, you were going to get some rhythm shots. And, you got to make some of those. You just have to. But defensively, we talked about that. Just try to make them earn everything. They hit a couple tough shots. Chivas hit a couple threes. And, statistically, he's about 22% in conference, I think 29 overall. So he hit some of those, and that Johnson can get going. So I thought that once we got, after about 8 minutes or whatever that stretch, we kind of tightened it up defensively and contested a little more, and that really we knew we could get stops. That helped us.
Go over here on the edge.
Yeah, Coach Joyner had mentioned that your size gave them some issues. He said, you kept bringing size off the bench. With their four-guard lineup, was that something that you hoped to, give them that problem?
Yeah, I mean, I think that, Mike came in and Anthony, and that I used them together at times, and our guards are big, so that was important. They, Chivas is an interesting, he's a little bit like Blossom game for Clemson, who he's really quick off the bounce. So we were concerned about that matchup, and he exploited it a little bit. Then Isaiah did a good job, but we had to take advantage of I don't think it shows too much on the glass, but our size was an advantage, so we tried to go inside, and Anthony did a good job, and Mike and the other guys once they got some touches.
Okay, Max, if you can turn back to Kip there, and then we'll come here and there.
Yeah, Kip Coons for the Raleigh News and Observer. Tony, the last 2 years, relatively close calls and sort of a struggle in the first round games. How much better do you feel the way your team performed today?
Yeah, I mean, that's you just know going into this. I mean, it was tight early, and then we separated. Those first games, Malcolm said there's a guy who's a fifth-year senior who's got probably more experience than most guys, and it's just how it is. It's all at zero once that ball is tipped. And, we talked about the difference between saying and doing, the seedings, the expectations. You just got to put those away and play, and however long it takes. So to be able to have a little separation like that and have some more comfort certainly was different than last year's, because 2 years ago here we were fortunate to win against a really good Coastal Carolina team. Played Belmont last year. So much of it is matchups. It really is, and we had the size difference and some experience, and I'll take this feeling over the other two that you mentioned for sure.
Okay, we can go back down to the edge here, and then we'll get Aaron.
Ava Wallace from the Washington Post. In that same vein, what can a game with a score like this kind of do to your guys' focus? We've seen this team do well and then come out the next game a little bit slow.
Yeah.
Do you think they know better by now, pretty much?
Yeah, you don't have an opportunity. I mean, you're done now, so you got to be ready. Butler's a team that they don't beat themselves, from what I know, and respect that program, what they've done in the past, how they play now, and I'll watch them more. But you're at the stage now where it's who's playing best, and I think our guys understand that, and they'll present some challenges that we'll have to be on point with. But I think the guys understand what's at stake, and again, they're capable. We always say you're able, but will you? And that's what you got to answer once we get started.
Let's get Aaron right here.
Aaron McFarling with the Roanoke Times. Tony, you're not known for sideline histrionics or anything, but was it weird to be glued to that stool in the second half and not really? Did you have to maybe tell yourself not to jump up quickly a couple times?
They just told me to sit there and drink the Powerade and dehydrate. So yeah, and thankfully the game wasn't close where in the second half. So yeah, usually you like to be kind of active and involved, but I guess it shows you that coaching's overrated, because I don't think they knew I was over there. You could sit on your hands and they wouldn't notice, or if you're active. That's just for coaches to feel good, I think. So.
We're going to go way back in the back corner. And then over there.
Coach, Eric Brady from USA Today. Did the doctors mention to you the term vasovagal response? That's a common form of fainting when you stand up too fast.
I think they said something like that. You probably had a vagal reaction, and being a little under the weather. I'm sure that's all it was. Just so I don't think it's anything too serious. More embarrassing than anything, I'll be honest. But it is what it is, and I'm sure I'll get teased a lot about it, but we'll move on.
We're going to go to the edge here, and then if you can get into Norm.
Coach, what do you get more joy from, shooting the ball the way you guys did today, or having 5-minute stretches where they're not scoring?
Both, but we have to start it with good defense. In this tournament, you got to be airtight, or as best as you can defensively, to make people earn. Then you get those stretches, but I think it has to come with that first. But you have to play both ends to advance in this thing, and it was nice to see both for sure, but it starts with the defense.
Eric, can you get a mic to Norm back there?
Tony, knowing just a little bit of how you roll with these kinds of things, you'd probably just prefer to move on and not think about the episode today and just move on to planning for Saturday. But did Ethan say anything about strapping you down and putting an IV in you to make sure that you're okay, or what's the plan for tonight to kind of make sure you're good?
It's making too big a deal out of it. It'll be fine, I'm sure, and they'll check me out, and maybe if I'm dehydrated, give you an IV. We'll see, but it's all good.